Peace be upon you. Imagine a quiet village on the outskirts of Paris where tradition and modernity meet in unexpected ways. In this recent tale, set during the holy month of Ramadan, a seemingly ordinary day became a turning point for an entire community. The story begins with the gentle call of the Adhan echoing through the narrow cobblestone lanes, inviting the faithful to the humble mosque at the village's heart. The mosque, modest yet filled with history and spiritual warmth, had long been a center of learning and solace for the village. Under its cool, shaded arches, the revered Hafiz of the Quran, known affectionately as Qari Sahib, had spent decades guiding young hearts through the sacred verses and timeless wisdom of Islam. With his gentle recitations and patient explanations, he had nurtured not just memorization of the holy text, but a profound understanding of its moral and ethical teachings. It was on a radiant morning in Ramadan, a day marked by serene devotion and a palpable sense of renewal, that destiny intervened. As the early sunlight filtered through stained glass windows, casting a kaleidoscope of colors on the polished wooden floor, the mosque door creaked open. Standing at the threshold was a determined 10-year-old boy whose eyes sparkled with a mix of innocence and resolute purpose. Clad in simple attire, his small frame belied an unwavering spirit. With a clear and earnest voice that seemed to echo in the stillness of the sacred hall, he declared, "I want to join your school." The words, so pure and unadorned, stunned everyone present. For decades, the mosque had been viewed solely as a sanctuary for prayer and spiritual learning, not as a conventional school. Qari Sahib, momentarily taken aback by the boldness of the request, smiled with a blend of surprise and pride. "My son," he replied, "this is not a school in the usual sense. It is the house of Allah, where we come not just to learn, but to nurture our hearts and souls." Yet the child's question resonated far deeper than a mere inquiry about enrollment. It was a call for a reimagined understanding of education, one that intertwined faith, character, and a sincere quest for knowledge. Inspired by this unexpected moment of clarity, Qari Sahib resolved to uncover the source of the child's conviction. He asked the boy, "And where is your mother?" The simple reply, "She is waiting outside," would soon unravel a story that would change lives. Stepping out into the cool, dewy morning, Qari Sahib found a woman standing at the mosque entrance. The sight of her immediately stirred conflicting emotions within him. In her attire, a modern European dress that starkly contrasted with the modest traditional garb he was accustomed to, he saw not only a deviation from the expected norms, but also a symbol of contemporary life, colliding with time-honored traditions. In that moment, his heart was filled with a mix of disapproval and concern for the sanctity of the mosque. "If you truly cherish Islam," he murmured to himself, "your attire should reflect its modesty." With measured firmness, he addressed her, "I came to meet your mother, but seeing you dressed in this manner, I cannot welcome you inside." The words, though stern, carried an undercurrent of a deep-seated commitment to the values he held dear. The woman, visibly taken aback by his abruptness, hesitated. "I mean no disrespect," she replied softly. "I am here only because my child's heart yearns for the light of your teachings." The mosque, usually a haven of calm reflection, was now charged with a sense of expectation and tension. Yet, the conversation was not to end in discord. The very next day, as the crescent moon of Ramadan graced the night sky, and the community prepared for iftar, the child returned. With the same determined clarity, he repeated, "My mother says I must join your school." This unwavering plea rippled through the gathered worshippers and students alike, prompting a moment of introspection among those who had long accepted routine without question. As the days of fasting passed, the entire village embraced the spiritual discipline of Ramadan with fervor. From the break of dawn until the call to iftar at sunset, every resident, Muslim and non-Muslim alike, observed the fast as a symbol of unity, self-discipline, and mutual respect. The mosque became the central hub of communal activities, hosting not only the daily prayers, but also impromptu discussions on life, faith, and the enduring values of compassion and tolerance. One evening, as the golden hues of sunset bathed the village in a soft, ethereal glow, the community gathered for iftar. The long, narrow courtyard of the mosque was transformed into a vibrant mosaic of families and neighbors, all united by a shared commitment to spiritual renewal. Plates of dates, bowls of cooling sherbet, and fragrant samosas adorned long tables under makeshift canopies. The iftar was not merely a meal. It was a celebration of unity, a symbolic breaking of barriers as much as the fast itself. Amidst this collective gathering, Qari Sahib's mind wandered back to the previous day's encounter. The resolute voice of the young boy and the quiet determination in his eyes had ignited a spark that compelled him to revisit his own understanding of tradition and inclusiveness. That evening, as families exchanged smiles and heartfelt greetings, the Hafiz resolved to engage in a conversation that might bridge the divide between strict adherence and the spirit of compassion inherent in Islam. The next morning, with the freshness of Ramadan still lingering in the air, Qari Sahib sought out the woman once more. He found her near the mosque's entrance, her face etched with a quiet mixture of hope and apprehension. "Tell me," he began, "what drives you to bring your child here day after day, even if you do not share our faith?" His voice, now gentler than before, carried the weight of sincere curiosity rather than condemnation. The woman met his gaze with calm dignity. "I have come not merely to seek religious conversion," she explained, "but to secure a future for my child, a future filled with respect, discipline, and moral values that I see flourishing here. I have observed how your teachings have transformed lives. In my neighborhood, I know of a Muslim woman whose 3 sons honor her with reverence. They greet her with kisses on her hand, rise as she enters the room, and treat her with the utmost respect. Such behavior, these timeless values of honor and humility, are what I wish for my child." Her words resonated deeply with the Hafiz. In her explanation, he recognized a universal desire, a yearning for a nurturing environment that cultivates character and imparts the virtues essential for a fulfilling life. The mosque, he now understood, was more than a building or a symbol of a specific religious doctrine. It was a crucible for moral and ethical formation, one that transcended cultural and religious boundaries. Moved by this profound exchange, Qari Sahib's heart softened. He acknowledged that the true beauty of Islam lay in its ability to transform lives through gentle guidance and patient instruction. Determined to honor the child's earnest request and the mother's noble intentions, he invited the young boy to remain at the mosque and continue his studies. However, he decided that the child's education would proceed gradually, first by nurturing his character through exemplary conduct and small, everyday lessons in respect, discipline, and kindness, before delving into the deeper spiritual teachings of the Holy Quran. Thus began an extraordinary journey, a journey of gradual transformation, not just for the child, but for the entire community. In the tranquil hours after the iftar gatherings, under the starlit sky of Ramadan, conversations blossomed. Neighbors discussed the meanings of respect, humility, and the true essence of faith. The mosque, once seen solely as a place of worship, now stood as a beacon of inclusive education and spiritual growth. Over the following weeks, the change became palpable. The child, once known for his unruly behavior and indifference, began to mirror the respectful demeanor of his peers who frequented the mosque. Slowly but surely, his interactions with his mother, his siblings, and the elders in the community began to reflect the transformative power of the teachings he was receiving. His newfound behavior was not the product of strict imposition, but of gentle, sincere guidance. Every lesson in the mosque, whether recited from memory or imparted through example, became a thread weaving him into the broader tapestry of communal values. The village, too, underwent a subtle yet profound metamorphosis, inspired by the child's transformation and the unwavering commitment of Qari Sahib. Many residents began to question long-held prejudices and the rigid boundaries that had previously separated them. In a remarkable act of unity, neighbors organized communal iftar dinners each evening of Ramadan, regardless of their personal faith. These iftar gatherings, resplendent with shared laughter, heartfelt conversations, and an abundance of delicious food, became a symbol of interfaith harmony and mutual respect. One such evening, as the call to Maghrib echoed through the village, the entire community assembled in the mosque's courtyard. Lanterns hung from the ancient trees, and the soft murmur of gratitude filled the air as families prepared to break their fast. Children darted around, their laughter mingling with the gentle recitations of the Quran, while elders exchanged knowing glances of hope and renewal. The iftar was a time not only for breaking the fast, but for mending the invisible threads that had long separated hearts. At the center of this gathering, Qari Sahib looked upon the scene with tears glistening in his eyes. In that moment, he realized that the teachings he had devoted his life to were bearing fruit in the most unexpected way. The child's simple plea to join your school had become a catalyst for widespread change, a spark that had ignited a collective transformation among families, neighbors, and even those who had once held steadfast to conventional ways of thinking. Yet, as the story continued to unfold, challenges remained. A few outspoken members of the community questioned the rapid changes and the inclusion of those outside the traditional fold. In hushed conversations after iftar, some elders murmured concerns about preserving the sacred traditions of the mosque. However, the overwhelming majority, moved by the genuine transformation in behavior and the visible improvements in familial and communal relationships, chose to embrace the new spirit of unity and progress. Over time, more and more families sent their children to learn under Qari Sahib's patient tutelage. The mosque, already a venerable institution, evolved into a dynamic center of learning where both the young and the old could gather, learn, and grow. The conversations that once began as simple recitations soon delved into discussions about ethics, respect, and the responsibilities of living in a diverse community. The impact of these lessons rippled beyond the mosque walls, influencing daily interactions and redefining the social fabric of the village. A turning point in the narrative came when the child's mother, witnessing the transformation not only in her son, but also in the community, made a life-changing decision. Inspired by the respect and discipline instilled in her child through the gentle yet firm guidance of the Hafiz, she too embraced Islam. Her conversion, though met with initial shock and even disapproval by some relatives, soon became a symbol of personal growth and the transformative power of sincere education. In the face of criticism, she remained steadfast, her quiet dignity and unwavering conviction eventually winning over the skeptics. Her decision not only redefined her own life, but also paved the way for other families to re-examine their own beliefs. In the ensuing days, the village bore witness to a series of extraordinary events. The once divided community began to celebrate Ramadan in a manner that was both unique and inclusive. Every evening, the iftar gatherings grew larger, drawing participants from every corner of the town, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, united by the desire for spiritual renewal and mutual understanding. As the weeks passed, the message spread far beyond the small village, capturing the attention of neighboring towns and even local media. In one particularly memorable iftar, as the aroma of freshly prepared food wafted through the air and the soft strains of the Quran blended with joyful conversation, the Hafiz addressed the assembled crowd. With humility and passion, he reminded everyone that the essence of Islam lay in the transformation of the heart and the nurturing of mutual respect. Our faith teaches us that true education goes beyond textbooks and rituals, he declared. It is about cultivating a spirit of kindness, understanding, and compassion in every interaction. Let this Ramadan be a time of renewal, a time when we open our hearts to the beauty of diversity and the strength that comes from unity. The words resonated deeply with the audience, reaffirming the significance of the Hafiz's approach, a balanced blend of tradition and progressive thought. That evening, as the community broke their fast together under a canopy of twinkling stars, the village of Paris was transformed. What began as a single child's plea had blossomed into a movement of change, a revival of the true spirit of Islam, built on the foundations of respect, humility, and love for all of humanity. In the months that followed, the effects of that blessed Ramadan continued to be felt throughout the community. Families who had once been divided by differences now found common ground in the shared pursuit of knowledge and moral excellence. The humble mosque, with its ancient walls and heartfelt recitations, had become a beacon of hope, its influence transcending age, gender, and even faith. And every time the call to prayer echoed across the village, it reminded everyone of the miraculous transformation that had begun with a simple declaration by a young boy. Thus, in a small village on the edge of Paris, during the sacred month of Ramadan, a new chapter was written, a chapter of renewal, unity, and the enduring power of education and faith. The journey of that 10-year-old, his determined words, and the compassionate response of Qari Sahib remain a testament to the timeless truth that when hearts are opened, even the smallest spark can ignite a flame that lights the way for an entire community. May this tale inspire us all to seek truth, nurture kindness, and embrace change with an open heart. For in the gentle embrace of faith and the shared experience of fasting and iftar, we discover not just the beauty of Islam, but the universal potential to transform our lives and the world around us.